What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel where we talk about finance, real estate, and business, how to make money, how to save money, and how to invest your money. But today, we're talking about the 5 books that everybody should read in their 20s. Initially, I was gonna talk about the books that every entrepreneur should read, or the books that every real estate investor should read, or the books that every stock market investor should read, but I decided just to make a video of the books that every single 20-year-old should read. Whether you're looking to improve your relationships, your finances, your emotions, your spirituality, or whatever it is, every single 20-year-old should read these 5 books in 2021. There's tons of different studies out there that talk about how much reading actually improves the quality of your life pretty much in every area. There's literally studies that have shown that reading will decrease stress by 68%, okay, in the people who actually take the time to sit down every day and read a book. There's another statistic that actually shows that adults who read more than 30 minutes a week feel way more satisfied with their overall life. I actually ended up finding another really interesting statistic, and that is that the Pew Research Center investigated basically which people are most likely and least likely to pick up a book, and basically the richest adults are 3 times more likely to read than those with a household income lower than 30K. So there's no question about it that reading dramatically increases the quality of your life. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the video right after, of course. You just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, okay? So the first book you're probably gonna love, and if you're a 20-year-old, then you're watching the video and you probably already know which one my first one is gonna be. That is by Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. This is probably one of my more favorite books that I've read over the last couple of years, and I actually do tend to read quite a few books, okay? This is a book that you've probably seen traveling through the airport. You've probably seen it at Barnes & Noble. This is an obviously New York Times bestseller book, okay? And Mark Manson has actually just wrote another book, and that book is also just incredible, okay? You've got the orange and you've got the blue. I actually don't think I have this on my desk. This one's in my apartment right now. But let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about what this book actually kind of talks about and just summarize it so you can decide if it is a book that you want to read. So a lot of people obviously see this book and they're like, okay, well, do I just, do I not give a f about anything, or I don't understand, right? And the best way that I can kind of describe the book is that as human beings, right, in 2021, you know, we give a f about everything, right? And that is an issue because we basically, okay, do not have equal distribution. So basically, what it kind of talks about is it's kind of a personal value book. He basically is like, you've got to figure out what matters to you and what doesn't matter to you, right? And you've got to carefully allocate your okay? And that is kind of in a nutshell what the book is about. I think it is an incredible book because I tend to agree with Mark, obviously, right? We care about everybody's opinion on social media. We care about if you comment on my Instagram picture, it's like, oh my gosh, like it'll ruin my day, right? There's all of these things that we care about. You know, we care about everything. We care about our neighbors. We care about the people that live next door to us, like our actual physical neighbor, like what they look like today and what they're wearing and you know, what they're saying on the TV and what they're saying on social media. And we've got to learn as a society how to pick and choose where to give our I mean, at the end of the day, we only have so many to give. When we wake up in the morning, right? You've got to really think about that. We wake up in the morning and we've got, you know, X amount to give. And we can't just be handing these things out like they're free candy, okay? We've got to be very careful. And I think Mark did an incredible job talking about that in a way that is a little bit controversial, right? I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, the title of the book, okay? So definitely a phenomenal book to read, especially if you're in your 20s. Definitely check it out. Let's just go ahead and jump right into number 2. The second book that every 20-year-old should read, and this is a really big one, and this is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, okay? Now this book will literally change your entire life. No matter what you do for a living, no matter what you eventually want to do for a living, pretty much this book is like one of my biggest and like most favorite go-to books. So in my opinion, this is one of those books that will just help you overall have a better life, okay? This will really teach you how to handle people, how to interact with people, and at the end of the day, I get it, right? If you're in your 20s, you're like, Austin, all I do is just DM people, and I text people, and I message people, and I never actually have to interact with anybody, okay? I promise you, you're gonna have to interact with people throughout your entire life, right? And the better you are with people, the more that overall you can create win-win scenarios, in my opinion, right? A lot of people, I feel like, think that you have to be a salesperson in order to want to be good with people, and that isn't necessarily true. I mean, when you think about it, everything is kind of a sale, right? Everything is a transaction, you know? Even if you're a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer, you have to sell people on why they should use you, right? So Dale talks a lot about, really being good with people, right? And being precise with people and having integrity. He talks about not criticizing, not condemning, not complaining, right? He talks about being honest, right? Having a good communication skill. So there's so many different things that he talks about in here that, in my opinion, I think it's just an incredible book. It's also a very old book. I mean, he wrote the first edition of this, I believe, back in 1935. He talks about becoming genuinely interested in other people. I mean, have you ever got on an airplane before or some form of public transportation and just looked to the person next to you and been like, hey there, my name's Austin, you know, how you doing today? And they'll just talk your ear off for the next 3 hours, right? And you know that to be true. So, you know, getting people to open up and really getting people to talk to you is a huge way to build rapport with people and to get ultimately what you want without manipulating other people. He talks about remembering people's names. You tell me, but have you ever been out and about, you met somebody and they remembered your name, right? You only met them like one time and they like call you or they text you and they remember your name and you're like, oh my gosh, like it just makes you feel incredible, okay? So look, there's a bunch of these principles in this book that are incredible, okay? I don't wanna ruin the whole book for you, so definitely go check it out. Definitely read this. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal book. By the way, there's no like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this video because that would just be impossible. All these books are just incredible. I don't think I could ever like stack them up against each other. So you've got Think and Grow Rich, okay, by Napoleon Hill. Truly incredible book. I feel like if you're watching the video, you've probably at least heard of this book, okay? I'm also actually a little bit older than Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Napoleon Hill has, the knowledge and the wisdom in this book. And by the way, even if you don't want to be rich, right? Even if you don't want to be wealthy monetarily, this is not necessarily about how to become wealthy financially, right? Yes, you can become wealthy financially by reading a book like this, but this is about how to become wealthy spiritually, physically, emotionally, right? Relationally, okay? How to have wealth in your relationships, how to have wealth in your body, right? How to be healthy, okay? So there's just principles in this book that are, in my opinion, they're timeless, right? I feel like we live in a day and age where people think that we've got to get new information and we've got to watch a new video, right? And I've got to, watch this person and that person and kind of like this like grass is greener syndrome. And the reality of it is a lot of these old guys that wrote the stuff that they wrote, it is timeless. Nothing's gonna change. Nothing has changed. Nothing is gonna change. And people are just talking about it a different way. The main things that he talks about in this book are specialized knowledge, okay? Imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence, the power of the master mind. This is a really interesting one, okay? You gotta read the book to kind of find out what this is. The mystery of sex transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, the sixth sense, okay, and how to outwit these 6 ghosts of fear. So this is obviously an incredible book. Those are some of the things that he talks about. Now, obviously, if you've never read the book or you've never heard of it, go read like a good book summary of the book and then read the book, okay? Or just read the book, forget about the book summary altogether, listen to it on Audible, whatever you gotta do. I'm not gonna dive too much into this one because this is a timeless classic. It always has been and it always will be. Similar to Tony Robbins, and you've got Bob Proctor, and you've probably heard of Les Brown and all these different self-help gurus. I mean, this is like the OG. Like Napoleon Hill is the real freaking deal, okay? So definitely check this one out. That one's phenomenal. Let's just move right along to number 4. And speaking of Tony Robbins, okay, we had to go ahead and include this for every single person in their 20s, and that is Awaken the Giant Within. I feel like in our day and age, Tony Robbins is kind of like the man, the myth, the legend, right? You've probably seen him. He's got a Netflix documentary called I Am Not Your Guru, by the way. That is a phenomenal Netflix documentary. If you haven't checked that out, you have got to go check that out, okay? If you're somebody that literally wants to develop their mindset, their relationships, again, their spirituality, anything, right? You want a better job, you want to make more money, you want to be happier, you want to be healthier. This guy right here is the man, the myth, the legend, okay? So Awaken the Giant Within. This is a pretty big book. I'm not gonna lie, okay? This book, we're talking like 500 pages, okay? 500 pages. You've got to obviously read this when you have some free time on your hands, okay? Because it is going to take a little while. So Tony Robbins essentially, okay, and again, I'm breaking down 500 pages into like just like a sentence, okay? But he basically breaks down how the mind and the body kind of work, okay? And he basically talks about how we kind of look at everything as a human being in the pain versus pleasure, okay? So it's like, is this like painful? Is this pleasurable? And he kind of talks about that and dives into that a little bit. And it's really interesting to understand kind of how we tend to think as human beings, because it really helps us kind of navigate through life and navigate through our decisions and stuff like that. He talks about how to rewire the brain, how to literally retrain your mind to go ahead and implement new things into your life, new strategies, new goals. He talks about how to set goals. He talks about how to look at a goal and believe that you can do it, because we all know that anything the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve, but you've got to believe it. So he breaks all that down. I think it's honestly just an incredible, incredible book. And I definitely think that every 20-year-old should obviously read it. And finally, number 5, okay, if you're still watching the video, just do me a huge favor, by the way, and just go ahead and just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would really appreciate it. Drop in the comments section below what your favorite book is, okay? But we're gonna be talking about the magic of thinking big, okay? Now, the front cover of this kind of describes what the book is about, but this is a book that really resonates with me, because before I ever read this book, my mentors would always tell me, Austin, if you're gonna think big, right? You gotta think either way. So you may as well think big. And that really resonated with me, because then throughout my life, people would tell me things like that. They would say, Austin, if you wanna make $1 million, set your goal at 10 million, right? Because even if you fall short of the goal at 10 million, and let's just say you achieve 5, it's still 4 million more than what you were initially going to set the goal at, right? And he's like, you potentially would have fallen short either way. So had you set the goal at $1 million and fell short, you'd have been at 700 grand or 500 grand or whatever. So the idea of like thinking big, right? And training the mind to think big, right? You got to think either way. Anyways, I learned a lot of that before I ever read this book, and this book kind of goes into like way more detail, and it obviously breaks everything down and talks about it, okay? So acquire the secrets of success, achieve everything you always wanted, personal property, financial security, power and influence, okay? The ideal job, satisfying relationships, a rewarding and enjoying life. I mean, if you don't want any of that and you're watching this video, then there's something seriously wrong, okay? So everybody, in my humble opinion, wants a good job, right? They want good relationships. They want to make good money, right? They want to retire. They want to travel. They want to give back to charity. You know, anybody that doesn't want that stuff, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta go talk to a therapist or something, okay? Now I'm just messing around, but read the book, okay? It's a phenomenal book. Been around forever and ever and ever. And it really just breaks down the practical principles of like, why think big? You know, you've got all these big like doers and achievers in 2021. You've got, you know, look at the Elon Musks of the world and the Jeff Bezoses of the world and the Bill Gateses, and why not think big, right? So I think it's extremely crucial, especially if you're in your 20s. You know, now's the time to kind of think big. You know, now's the time to really, like, you probably don't have a family. You probably don't have kids yet. You probably don't have a ton of responsibility. Like, why not dream big, right? You know, when you're a little kid, you were dreaming big. You know, you wanted to be a firefighter. You wanted to be an astronaut. And then somewhere along the way, life kind of beats us down and we end up settling, right? And I just encourage you, don't settle. if you're in your 20s, anything the mind can conceive, like we were talking about, the mind can achieve, okay? I really appreciate you for watching the video. If you watched this far, please drop in the comments section below. Let me know what one you're gonna read first. If you've already read one, what one you've already read, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.